Prince Andrew's Black Range Rover didn't simply turn a corner today, it detonated the monarchy's best-laid summer stagecraft. One moment Windsor Castle basked in the glorious predictability of Garter Day, velvet robes pressed, ostrich plumes preened, cameras calibrated for medieval eye candy, and the next came that unmistakable grille, carving across the quadrangle like a shark's fin through placid water. Staff had ordered him to slip in through a service gate, unseen. Instead, with a flick of the steering wheel, the Duke of York barreled straight up the ceremonial approach, grazing a traffic cone, flipping every smartphone on the long walk into hyperdrive and drenching the world's oldest chivalric pageant in fresh scandal scent before lunchtime. Tourists shrieked, "It's him!" Security radios crackled into chaos. A panicked footman spun on his heels, nearly collided with a Coldstream trumpeter, and hissed, "York's on the main route." Those 6 words punched straight through stone walls, shattering the palace's hush-hush containment plan. Officials had spent weeks choreographing Andrew's invisibility. He would arrive by nondescript saloon, slip down a servant's staircase, dine in the Waterloo chamber strictly off-camera, then exit long before the Velvet Regiment marched into view. Tradition demands he attend. He still holds the lifetime title of Knight Companion, and tradition, they believed, could be quarantined behind oak doors. That fantasy lasted exactly 8 minutes, just long enough for his rogue entrance clip to bolt across TikTok, tagged #AndrewGate, racking 200,000 views before Garter trumpets even warmed their lips. Inside the Waterloo chamber the chill was instant, visible, and painful. King Charles greeted his brother with a frost-rimmed smile tight as a violin string. Queen Camilla offered one syllable, "morning," delivered with the warmth of a shut refrigerator door. Prince William, architect of the slimmed-down monarchy, acknowledged his uncle only with a curt nod and a stare so fixed on the ceiling's fresco one courtier feared he'd set the paint ablaze. Princess Anne, guardian of duty over sentiment, speared her salmon and refused to lift her gaze. Then an unwitting elderly knight, hungry for small talk, lobbed the grenade, "Will your Royal Highness grace the procession?" Camilla's glass met linen with a lethal clink. The Queen replied, voice velvet-wrapped steel, "Some honors are now observed in private." Air disappeared. Andrew flushed crimson, muttered, "By sovereign right," and buried his face in claret. A footman confessed later, "I've seen funerals with better atmosphere." Outside, the pageant tried to proceed as if 700 years of spotless tradition still held. Military drummers beat their cadence, heralds unfurled banners, Charles and Camilla emerged in their midnight blue robes, William flanking 2 steps behind as protocol demands. Viewers across 5 continents leaned closer, half expecting the cast list's ghost to materialize. He did not. Palace staff, in a last-minute maneuver, herded Andrew into a service corridor, stripped him of robe and plume, and dispatched him through a rear gate. But the damage had metastasized. Social timelines drowned the live broadcast with cackling captions, "Where's Wally Windsor?" as every commentator led with the very absence the palace wished unseen. If you wonder why one Range Rover cameo matters, look at the numbers. Internal YouGov tracking leaked to a mid-market tabloid shows royal favorability among under-30s drops up to 3 points whenever Andrew trends. Treasury insiders confirm his personal security still hoovers roughly £3 million per year, a figure impossible to justify for a man barred from public duty. Parliamentary critics now scent blood. A cross-party trio plans urgent questions next week asking why taxpayers remain on the hook for royal protection that, evidently, can't even stop a PR car wreck on Windsor Drive. The broader implications are brutal. Royal Ascot opens within days. Andrew owns a lifetime grandstand pass. If he appears in the royal box, private capacity or not, lenses will swarm, drowning coverage of the King's first Ascot as monarch. 2 weeks later President Macron arrives for a state visit aimed at showcasing Global Britain 2.0. LSE aides are already requesting cast-iron assurances no scandal magnate will photobomb the handshake on horse guards. Then comes budget season. Any flash of Andrew on a parade will hand Republicans a golden sledgehammer to smash public spending lines. Inside Windsor, battle lines harden. Traditionalists plead that stripping a duke of ancient honors would hurl precedent off a cliff. Recall Henry VIII's Earl whose banner was torn down only after treason. Modernizers, led quietly by William and supported fiercely by Anne, shoot back. Today's monarchy survives on public consent, not heraldic inertia. and consent leaks every time Andrew gatecrashes a camera frame. Camilla, after enduring that Waterloo freeze, has apparently swung to the modern side. Her reported verdict after the luncheon, "Enough dangling, cut the rope." Charles teeters on the edge. His private secretary has drafted the nuclear letters patent, erase the Her Royal Highness, end security funding, pull the Garter banner, exile the Duke to true private citizen status. Yet the King's pen hovers, paralyzed by filial loyalty and memories of the late Queen's aversion to irrevocable rifts. Today's fiasco shoved the nib closer to parchment. One palace source framed it this way: His Majesty hates hammers, he prefers velvet gloves. But gloves won't douse a wildfire if Andrew sparks one more flash. And sparks he will, if unchecked. Tonight the global press corps has one image on loop: a luxury SUV slicing through an orange cone, symbol of the monarchy's unresolved liability. American late-night hosts dust off Epstein jokes, Australian breakfast panels debate whether Andrew's banner should be yanked before his next photobomb. Even in Spain, normally enchanted by Windsor kitsch, El País headlined, El Príncipe Fantasma ensombrece la orden medieval, the ghost prince darkening a medieval order. Meanwhile, Andrew himself? Witnesses saw him exiting Windsor by the rear, chin lifted, half smiling, the look of a man convinced that mere presence reasserts relevance. Perhaps he believes Charles will never sign that stripping decree, perhaps he banks on royal blood outweighing public opprobrium. Yet every phalanx of palace aides knows today's fiasco clocks a countdown. One more unscripted appearance and the King's velvet gloves may come off. He cannot afford #Andrew Gate colliding with #Macron visit or #Ascot Royal Box, not while William's rebrand dangles on fragile polling and Camilla toils to stabilize public affection. For now, Windsor's floodlights bathe turrets in storybook gold. Tourists drift away, feet aching, phones bulging with selfies of plumes and coach horses, plus that viral clip of Andrew busting the security plan. Inside, chambermaids change linens, while a hush lingers in the Waterloo chamber like spent gun smoke. The Range Rover is gone, but its tire tracks scorch the memory of every strategist who begged to keep today scandal-free. Tomorrow's headlines are already drafted: Andrew hijacks Garter glory, King's patience tested, Parliament demands security cut. The monarchy wanted 7 centuries of continuity. It got a fresh reminder that one unresolved scandal can rupture the timeline in seconds. Unless Charles signs that waiting decree, every royal gate remains a potential stage, every cone another prop, and every ceremonial season a hostage to a duke who refuses to fade. Watch the gates, count the black SUVs, and keep your notification bell on. The next squeal of tires at Windsor could be the sound that finally pushes the royal pen across the page, velvet gloves off, history rewritten, and Britain's most controversial prince formally cast into the long night beyond the castle walls.